Copa versus Craig Wright. Inflows for the Bitcoin ETFs. That's pretty much all we're seeing. But something else is happening, and it has to do with the MiCA regulations, and more specifically, Spain. That's right. Spain is taking a step in what seems to be a very dystopian direction. Welcome back, everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's dive into this. Spanish Ministry of Finance takes aim at cryptocurrency tax evasion with new powers. The Spanish Ministry of Finance is actively pursuing reforms to enhance its control and oversight of cryptocurrencies within the country. Their primary objective is to enable the seizure of digital assets as a means to settle outstanding tax debts. This is not good, people. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad I don't live in Spain, but this is not good. Anyways, to achieve this goal, the ministry is currently working on legislative amendments to Article 162 of the General Tax Law. These proposed changes will empower the Spanish tax agency to identify and confiscate cryptocurrency assets owned by individuals or entities who have delinquent tax obligations. And guys, Bitcoiners have been saying this for years. So this is not a surprise. I just think it's important that we report on it because it's an ongoing matter, and unfortunately, I think we're going to see more countries, more jurisdictions follow these quote unquote obligations and laws. Anyways, one significant development in this regard is the recent implementation of a royal decree effective from February 1st. This decree broadens the scope of entities with tax collection authority. So this is interesting because another piece that at least I know that I've always said, and I'm sure that other Bitcoiners as well, you see, the governments have multiple ways of policing people. Now, one of the greatest tax collectors the government has is private businesses, okay? And the reason why is because when you go to work for a corporation, okay, whether it's public or private or whatever it is, whenever you go work for a corporation, essentially what happens is that your taxes are deducted at the source. Now, the government likes that, right? That is a steady revenue stream. What governments don't like is people hanging on to their money, right? And then letting the government know how much they believe they've made and what they believe they should pay in taxes. Governments don't like that. Governments like good little cogs in the machine, okay? And essentially, one of the ways that you can ensure that is to make more and more institutions indirect kind of police officers of making sure that these taxes get collected. Anyways, let's continue. Previously, only banks, savings banks, and credit cooperatives were authorized to report to the Treasury. This expansion allows the Treasury to strengthen its efforts in pursuing tax evaders, the evil tax evaders, and recover unpaid taxes more aggressively. It's so funny, right? Because essentially by LARPing in this way, it's almost like we get to pretend that governments don't print money out of thin air, right? It creates this idea that them collecting these taxes is ever so important, necessary even, to keep the economic wheels greased. Have to take the money away from people that we print out of nothing. We have to do it. The Treasury intends to impose stricter reporting requirements on financial institutions, including banks and electronic money institutions. They will require to provide detailed information on all card transactions. That's right, guys, all card transactions. In October 2023, the Spanish Ministry of Economy and Digital Transformation announced plans to adopt the, here we go, Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, MiCA, which I've covered already a few times. I am going to put, I'll put links to it in this video, either at the end so that you guys can catch up on those. But yeah, I've talked about this a few times, and what's going on in Europe in terms of MiCA is some really, is it MiCA or Mika? Anyways, I pronounce it MiCA. Anyways, the first comprehensive European Union crypto framework. Lucky them. Spanish residents who hold cryptocurrency assets on foreign platforms have until the end of next month to declare them to the tax authorities. That's right. They expect you to self-report. It's worth noting that only individuals with crypto assets exceeding the equivalent of 50,000 euros, approximately $54,000, are obligated to declare their foreign holdings. Those who store their assets in self-custody wallets must report their holdings. Okay, so this is where we get into the slippery slope, right? And this is where you're going to hear the non-KYC people start to cheer and be like, you see, you should have bought non-KYC Bitcoin. Now they can go and figure out how much Bitcoin you have and all this stuff. Okay, so the reality is that if you used a VPN and you use Tor, the likelihood of them figuring out what you have accumulated in Bitcoin is probably slim to none. The other piece to it is that, do we really think that they have enough resources to go and start checking every single citizen? I don't think so. So this is really a matter of self-reporting. Okay, this is one of those things where you self-incriminate. Okay, I don't believe that they're going to be going to find the people who are not reporting it. I believe they are going to go after the people who are reporting it. Essentially what it is it reminds me of the saying, give me the stick and I can hit you with it. So that's exactly what it is, right? Like, we're going to go and metaphorically hand them the stick, right? Hand the government the stick so that they can go and hit you with it. So look, the other piece is this, really. Can we stop this? No, I don't believe that we can. I mean, I would love to think that we can, but I don't believe that we can. And it's because really the state does control our lives. The state, regardless of where you live, does have a monopoly on violence. That does matter. Okay, these things do matter. Throwing up our hands isn't the answer, right? I do believe that our solution, which goes back to the original promise of Bitcoin, in my eyes anyways, is building out this parallel economy, right? So what's happening from what I see is that the gatekeepers in traditional fashion are tightening their grip at every corner and every chance that they can. Okay? But the difference is that there needs to be this illusion that takes place that you cannot build a parallel economy, okay? And this needs to be firmly believed. So while focusing all this attention on these regulations, enforcing these regulations, the penalties of what happens if you don't follow these regulations, people aren't paying attention to the parallel economy, right? Focused on the system, right? Focused on the system at hand. But guess what? Bitcoiners are building that parallel economy, okay? And the more that parallel economy begins to take shape, the less and less these regulations matter. And this is something that I said many years ago, okay? The governments and regulators are building a moat. Now, we can't stop them from building that moat. We can't stop them from building the gates. But with a parallel economy, we can simply take the board out from under them and move it. And that is exactly what Bitcoin's doing. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Put it in the comments, and I'm going to catch you all tomorrow.